this is proposed signage size is proportionate to their sign requirements. The difference between 168 and 150 is fairly marginal, maybe a few feet shorter and a few inches, or a few feet less in length and a few inches less in height. The pretty straightforward. There are one of the things I would like to point out about Jeff's comment about the mall. Those signs, even at 150 square feet, are elevated well above the sight line of all the traffic interference and wires and so on and so forth. And so they have that advantage of standing out against a two-story facade, basically. But nonetheless, Shoe Carnival also has a fairly long name and lots of letters to fit into it. So this is what we're proposing. We'd like to have the commission consider that. And any questions?
Mrs. Smith?
My question, how does that sign compare with the one that Aldi's had?
I can answer that. Aldi's is approximately 4 by 12, and so that 4 feet by 12 feet, I believe.
12 foot high, 4 foot wide.
Yep, that's right.
Yes.
Yep. So that would be, I don't, let's see. Do some,
It's 48.
there you go.
Okay.
48 square feet, but they also have the food market channel letters off to the side here, which factored in, and I forget the dimensions of those.
I do have some photographs in a package here if you'd like me to share them.
Yeah, but it was less than 150 square feet.
Okay.
Mr. Brody?
No question.
Julia? I have no question.
Thank you.
You. Any discussion? Mrs. Smith?
No, I don't have anything else.
Mr. Brody?
None.
Mr. Trzaskowski?
No.
I understand the problem here, but we did hold everybody at mall to 150 square feet. I think that we should probably do that here. Agree with that?
I think that you limit the slippery slope effect
Right.
by sticking to a standard.
And, okay, the chair will entertain a motion to accept minor development plan 6.69 Jack's Pets and Shoe Carnival, minor amendment to a new signage. We have a motion.
The minor modifications to the final development plan as presented, case number 6-69, with the conditions mentioned in the staff report. The Shoe Carnival sign will be no larger than 150 square feet.
You have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept amendment to a final development plan 6.69 Jack's Pets and Shoe Carnival minor amendment. Could we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Trzaskowski?
Yes.
Mr. Gertie?
Yes.
Mr. Westfall?
Yes. I failed to mention with the exception.
Understood.
It was brought to my attention that we forgot to introduce our new land use planner.
I was going to do that
If
under
you could
announcement.
handle that.
I'll do that under announcements.
Okay.
Okay, yep.
Here it is. Next on the agenda is a public hearing. We have none. After that is the informal concept review. We have none. Old business. There's none on here. Does anybody have any?
No old business.
Okay. Okay, under new business, we have to make an addition. We're going to have to make a motion to initiate a text amendment related to the Bureau of Zoning Appeals criteria. I understand this has been a problem for the last several years, and I think that we're going to change 2 words, is that right?
I believe so.
Okay. Does staff have a,
Yeah, I've got just two items on the agenda tonight were the motion to initiate the zone map amendment for the Riverfront District, and and the motion to initiate a text amendment related to the criteria that the Board of Zoning Appeals uses when they hear variance cases. So I can address each of those individually if you'd like, and we can pause to make a motion and vote.
vote on each of them separately?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so the first is a motion to initiate a zone map amendment for the Riverfront District. It was brought to my attention that currently the Riverfront District boundary reflects historical FEMA flood hazard areas. That means the lines that designate where the 100-year flood hazard area exists are those lines that were in place many years ago, say decades ago. Those lines change as people do earth moving and as people put in berms and raise elevations. And so what I'm requesting is that the Zoning Commission make and approve a motion to initiate a zone map amendment shown in the maps that I included in the packets to basically modernize the boundaries of the Riverfront District. And the reason that this is important is because in the Riverfront District, the uses are very, very restrictive. So we want to make sure that we get it right. We don't want to be taking someone's ability to develop their property when in fact that there is no hazard for flood. And alternatively, we want to make sure that we're not allowing development in areas that are prone to flood or likely to flood. So, thanks to the hard work of our co-op, Sam Lehman, he was able to identify those areas that need to go into the Riverfront District and those that would come out. And I would also note that this action that I'm asking of you tonight would just start a process. You'll have the ability to deliberate on this process in the future. So the process goes like this. You all initiate the motion, you initiate the action through a motion, and then it goes to Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission. They make a recommendation, and then it comes back to you. And then that's when we have a public hearing on the map amendment. Then it goes to the trustees. So this is just an action to get the ball rolling.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to initiate a zoning map change amendment to the Riverfront District.
So moved, as you just said.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded that we initiate a zoning map amendment to the Riverfront District. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Trukowski?
Yes.
Mr. Gertie?
Yes.
Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Thank you. And then the next item is in our resolution, we have cited, well, we cite a standard called unnecessary, hang on just a second, unnecessary hardship standard, by which the Board of Zoning Appeals is to judge whether or not a variance should be granted or not. And it has come to my attention that those 2 words, unnecessary hardship, are the incorrect words because they're the incorrect standard that's being applied. Those words need to change to practical difficulties. And I would assure you, as I would assure the Board of Zoning Appeals and everyone else, that in all of the staff reports that staff has put out, we've said you need to use practical difficulties. But the text in the resolution needs to mirror the standard that we have been already applying. And so I would ask that you make and approve a motion to initiate a text amendment related to the criteria that the Board of Zoning Appeals uses when they judge a variance.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to initiate a text amendment related to BZA criteria. Okay, that's enough.
Yep.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded that we approve a motion to initiate a text amendment related to BZA criteria. We have a roll vote.
Has
Roll
a
call.
question.
Sure.
Mr. Mills, where does that appear in our paperwork that we have in our?
It's 4.4.2 D,
D.
and it's about halfway through that big paragraph there.
That on page 23, is that what you're looking at?
On mine, I've got page 24, but we could have different pagination.
All right, I see it.
You see it? Okay.
Okay, could we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Tchaikovsky?
Yes.
Mr. Westfall?
Aye.
Mr. Grody?
Yes,
Motion carried. Next on the agenda is administration. Do you have anything?
No, I'll do it under announcement. No.
We just keep moving it. Next on the agenda is announcements. Do you have any announcements? Mr.
I
Smith?
have a very special announcement to make. I'm excited to introduce the commission to our new land use planner, Julia Brodsky. Julia just graduated with her master's in community planning from the University of Cincinnati. A very good program, I might add. has produced all of the planners that are sit in front of you.
Of course.
Right, not all of it. Well, you're an architect. Yeah. Julia just graduated with her MCP. She was working with the University of Cincinnati's Office of Planning, Design, and Construction. So working on project management, and we're excited to have her. She'll be working in the office Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. She will become a very familiar face to you, I'm sure. Likely, we're not sure how the duties are going to be split, but she will likely find herself in the future representing staff. So to this and the BZA, one or the other. We're not sure how that's going to work, but it'll be good, and we're happy to have her here. The second announcement that I have is last Tuesday, the trustees passed a moratorium that affects you all. The trustees approved a moratorium on alternative financial service providers, which are cash checking places, pawn brokers, loans on car title places. So we are, from last Tuesday, we are unable to grant zoning certificates to these types of uses and for a year. That's going to allow us to take a look at that land use. Right now, it's regulated as a financial institution, and there is a growing body of literature that suggests that those types of financial institutions have negative impacts on the community and economic development. And we're going to be looking into and researching those negative impacts and how other communities are handling those negative impacts. And we will be making recommendations to the Zoning Commission for changes to the zoning resolution that would appropriately address those negative impacts. Burger King. Oh, that one's in.
That was already in the.
That one's in. Yep. We've had a number of we've had a lot of interest in that recently in our corridor, and it's a marker of urban decline, and it I believe is counterproductive when it comes to our economic development efforts. So we'll be looking at.
Okay, I'd like to go back up to old business. 2 or 3 meetings ago, we talked about training for the commission.
Yes. We ready to have another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am, I don't know about them.
Okay. So I'm thinking through, I've given that a lot of thought actually, and we don't have a budget per se to bring, McBride, Dale, Colerain back in, but we could certainly do an in-service where there could be, staff could do a lot of research on a particular topic, or I guess maybe the best thing to do would be to seek guidance from you all as to what that topic would be, and then we can go back, do the research. We can go through process. We can, whatever you like. What's your pleasure?
Victor Kowski?
Okay, on the spot right now.
Does anybody else have any ideas of what they would like to do training on?
anything that you do would be helpful.
Right.
Plus the program that I know Tom and I attended this past January over in Anderson Township was
Yes.
awfully helpful also, if we could be apprised of when that's going to occur this year.
Absolutely. Let's get it on the calendar. What times are good? Like maybe after a zoning commission meeting?
Well, if it's after this one, it'd be cool.
I know. We'll find a light schedule.
Yep, we're trying to break a record.
What do you think, after the October zoning commission meeting? Uh,
I guess that would depend on how much we have on.
Yeah.
the particular-
yeah. Let me take a look at what the docket looks like.
Okay.
I know September is shaping up to be, actually October will be shaping up to be a big one, so maybe September could be the better option. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, let us know.
Sure. Okay.
The next,
Oh, I have something I wanted to bring up.
Sure.
Pertaining to you, Jeff, I heard that, you were gonna be doing a presentation on, I think it's Waycross Media?
That's right.
Pertaining to, development in Colerain Township?
That's right. So tomorrow I'm meeting with Waycross, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the John Rose project, and sort of walk through how that came to be, what it is, how it came to be, and where we're at, where we're going.
Hold
And
that air.
that's a great question. Jason is in the back room, and he would know that question. I'm waiting for the door to pop open. There it is.
First weekend, it'll start second weekend in August, September.
Second weekend in September. Thank you, Jason.
okay, the next meeting is September.
Sure.
Mr. Mills, can you update us on any concerns that there may be with 3 different parcels that I've been seeing are being interacted recently? One is the parcel next to the Shell gas station at Springdale and Colerain.
Yeah.
The other one is the vacancy now in the Pizza Hut.
Yes.
And then the other one is previous H.H. Gregg building, and everything up
Yeah.
to snuff on all
Yeah,
of
let's
those.
talk about this. Those are all really exciting. So, on the corner of Colerain and Springdale, the Shell station is going to be going through a major transformation. In fact, they're going to scrape the site and start over again, and it's going to include the former CarQuest building. So, what you're seeing on the ground right now is the CarQuest building's been demolished. The 2 defunct car washes have been demolished, and soon the whole rest of the site is going to be demolished. And what's going in its place is a Popeyes, Dunkin' Donuts, convenience store, and gas station, and maybe more importantly from my perspective, some major improvements to the streetscape. And that's going to build on all of the streetscape improvements that we've seen in that area. So it's going to have a stacked stone wall at the corner, which is going to harden up that corner. We're going to be getting rid of 2 of the 5 curb cuts. So it's going to make traffic much better. Right now, you can almost drive over the corner of that intersection and get into that site. So it's going to make the site much more accessible and safe. And there's going to be new landscaping treatments, lower sign, and that billboard is coming down. So that's a major project, and I think that, from a development perspective, I think that the owner looked around and saw all of the incredible improvements that are going on adjacent to him, and felt like he felt very confident in making that pretty significant investment in that property. I'm really excited about that. Up at H.H. Gregg, that went to the Board of Zoning Appeals last month. Hobby Lobby is going to be occupying that space. They're going to completely redo the facade. So remember when Sun Television and Electronics was in there? Well, it's still the facade still has the sun on it, even though they haven't been there for a while. So that whole facade is going to come down, and in its place is going to be a facade that you're more used, that looks very similar to what we see around the area. And what's really exciting is that massive H.H. Gregg sign is coming down. And in its place, which is wonderful. And in its place is going to be a 15-foot pylon sign wrapped in stone at the bottom. And I think that's going to be a major improvement along the corridor. They applied for a variance and for wall signage, and the Board of Zoning Appeals conditioned their approval of more wall signage on the removal of the pylon sign. And the applicant was receptive to that. And it was another case that was very similar to what we saw tonight, where the building is set way back. It makes sense to have a little bit more wall signage. And as I said to the Board of Zoning Appeals, I don't believe that wall signage is the scourge of Colerain Avenue. I think the pylon signs really are affecting the aesthetic. So that's a major win. And then the Pizza Hut, I noticed that they repainted the roof, trying to fool everybody, thinking that didn't used to be a Pizza Hut, but their architecture is a brand. It's part of their brand image, so it's very easy to tell that structure used to be a Pizza Hut. I knew that there was interest in the property there from at least two different retail restaurant operators, but as of yet, it doesn't look like either one of those have materialized. So that one's still up in the air. And you've noticed probably lots of construction down where the old Jim and Chuck's boot shop and Bottoms Up. So that's the Kentucky Fried Chicken being constructed, and the site work that's associated with both of those parcels. There's a lot happening.
I'd also like to mention and say thank you on Springdale,
Oh, yeah.
across from that little strip center that's
Yes.
there. That building where Winners was, it's
Yes,
gone.
it's gone.
That's,
Yep. And
that's a great improvement.
it's a huge improvement, and I'm hoping that the owners there, realize, the reason that they did that was because they were having an impossible time marketing that building, and so now they're going to be marketing that lot as an outlot there. So I hope that they're very successful. It's really neat when you think about it. I mean, if you think about the Colerain Avenue corridor, there are segments of the corridor that have very distinct characters. Northgate, the auto dealership area, Groesbeck, and in every one of those quadrants and sectors, there's development happening, and it's all positive. So I'm really excited to be a part of that, and it's fun to watch.
You say that, going back to the Shell station, that there would or would not be a gas station?
There would.
there will
Yep.
be.
Yes, there would.
Shell.
Yep, there would be a Shell. That's right.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Now we're having a problem with
Carts.
sitting on cars and trash. Is there any talk with the state or because of the state road to construct or get some kind of a bus shelter that's not just a bus shelter, but maybe something that's more attractive, like what we see over in the Clifton area?
Yes.
Around the CWC area, and not just throw something there where, again, it's just instead of a function.
Yeah.
Just a function to be something that's more interesting.
Right.
Just somewhere to sit.
Exactly, and that's exactly the reason. Well, I mean, okay, so let me start here. Not the state of Ohio, but we've started conversations with Metro, and Metro does have some funds available for shelters. I need to learn more about how they paid for those shelters in Clifton, because they are beautiful. I mean, they look really good. It's etched glass that reflects, landmarks in the area. It's really attractive. And I think that would be something that would be in keeping with our streetscape plan. What was not in keeping with our streetscape plan are illegal bench signs that were thrown into the right of way for the purpose of making money for some other company, basically. And those are not attractive, and they're illegal, and they were removed. I think that's a great idea.
I know who did those signs.
I think we have it in now.
Too long to sound like.
Great idea. Yeah. Right. That's right. So that's right. So all of those signs that are over 15 feet tall are all grandfathered. And when we redid the sign portion of our zoning resolution last year, there was a conversation, at least internally, about whether or not we wanted to basically amortize them. And what that means is say, okay, these are now illegal. You have 5 years and before you have to get a new sign up. Right. That use. Yeah.
Doesn't it have to be vacant for 2 years before
It becomes abandoned.
we can take it?
Yeah, if it's
I can
vacant,
take
if
it
it's
down.
abandoned for 2 years, then we can order the sign down, and that's what we saw with that old highway sign that was the old BP sign at 275, and so that's still going through BZA right now, but that's what we use to bring that sign structure down. Yeah, I think that it's worth having the conversation. I know those have an incredible amount of value to the property owners, and you know, my take on those, on the whole big sign issue is that when on Colerain Avenue everybody is screaming at you. You know, you drive down and all the signs are just screaming at you. And when everybody's screaming, you can't hear anybody. You know, so what I keep saying is, why don't we turn the volume down so that everybody's speaking at the same level, and then maybe you can hear a little bit better. So, sure. Yeah.
At one point when we were talking about signage, didn't you say something about that University of Pennsylvania study? That
Which one was that? That was.
about how long you look at a sign and
Oh
how
yes,
big it
yeah,
is?
yeah,
and-
right, yeah, right. And the speed at which you drive
Right.
past it.
That was, they did that one year at the Outlaw Conference, and I
Oh
went
yeah,
to it.
right,
And it's a good study, and
right.
I think we ought to try to use it, but I don't, there's not much we can do about the signs that are already there.
Yeah, and we can look into that a little bit more. We can look
Yeah.
into that some more and have more conversations about that. I think that what we are seeing is a near historic level of turnover in signage. I mean, there will be 2 billboards coming down, which is on the Strip in the next year. We've seen a number of the larger signs come down, and it's just as a result of development that's happening and our ability to enforce the rules that we have.
Do you have anything else? Well, the only thing I would like to say is that I'd like to, for about 12 to 18 months, everything was moving very slowly in Colerain Township. And all of a sudden, in the last 6 months, we're going back at our regular speed. And I'd just like to say thank you to the zoning staff and to the economic development staff. I think they're doing a great job. Keep up the good work, guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
The next meeting is September 16th, 2014. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.